Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Mystic Sense series on inner peace. Today with us is Mags from Mysticsense. Would you like to introduce yourself, Mags?
Sure. I'm Mags. Hi, everybody. It's an honor to be here. And I've met a lot of you already over the last 7 months being a part of the Mysticsense family, and just so excited to be with Phoenix and everyone meet Achilles. This is my puppy, my partner in crime. So he wanted to make a quick debut. I'll put him over here on his throne, as I call it.
Okay, thanks so much, Mags, for being here. And Mag's profile on Mysticsense is linked in the description to this video. If you would like to get a reading with her at any time, make sure to check out her profile. What is your username on the website, please?
Empress of Security.
Okay, fantastic. So let's jump right into our topic of inner peace. How can listeners find calm amidst daily challenges for overall well-being?
I feel like this is such a cliche answer, but it's so true yet so hard. And that's turn off devices. It's we get really hooked to those things, whether it's a laptop, a cell phone, iPad, TVs, any type of electronics, but they're very distracting. And so when we're really looking to be calm and find that state, and eliminating any distractions is key. And I think that it's a great way to shift overall energy. And a lot of people have a hard time doing that, especially with the hustle and bustle of everyday happenings and life and jobs and families and all of that. So also closing your eyes. And a lot of people have a hard time doing this in public. And one of the things I've noticed, so for instance, at the airport, it can be a very hustle and bustle type of area or place to be. And sometimes people get anxiety before traveling or going on a flight. Again, this is just an example, but closing your eyes in public and not worrying about what people think. So I would probably start there and just kind of eliminating those distractions to reharness your energy.
Thanks for that guidance. Closing your eyes is definitely interesting because it gets rid of all the distractions, all the stuff you're looking at. So what mindfulness techniques like breath work and body scans are effective for finding calmness during stressful moments?
Yeah, breath work is huge. And I feel like I'm still a student in a lot of ways with regards to this. It sounds easy. Breathe in, breathe out. When I used to get really anxious, my mom always used to tell me to concentrate on my breathing. So one of the things that I've done on readings is to have people do the 8-4 technique, which is where you breathe in with pursed lips, or excuse me, take a deep breath in for 4 seconds and then breathe out with pursed lips for 8. This actually regulates your blood pressure. It helps really calm your nerves. So breath work is huge. There's a lot of other breathing exercises that you can do. Also, another thing that I suggest is I always think of breathing kind of like ocean waves, how the waves go in and out. And when you breathe out in that exercise, like I just kind of said with that, imagine the sounds of ocean waves. The ocean always calms me down, and I do not live anywhere near an ocean, so I'll take all the vibes in that regard that I can. But breath work is huge.
Very true. Thank you. I like the visualization of the sound as well. And I feel like people can replace that with any sound that they find soothing. If that's a forest, if that's birds chirping, if that's the sound of wind or rain, just, substitute that for the sound of the ocean when you are closing your eyes, when you're breathing.
Absolutely. And even I got lucky here this week. We've actually had some really nice rainstorms, and even just opening your window and listening to the rain, it's hard. I've got train tracks near me, and then today we had construction crews out on the street. But again, just trying to, even wearing noise canceling headphones is really helpful as well. I constantly have headphones on for better or worse. Talk about eliminating devices, but honestly, it really does help. So absolutely.
Yeah, excellent. Could you share some insights on the benefits of a quiet mind and present moment awareness through stillness and meditation?
Absolutely. So, when we are not in the present moment, and we're constantly worrying about the future, it can affect our manifesting. It can affect the people that we're around, obviously our own inner homeostasis and those types of things. But it's really not allowing our mind, body, and soul to align when we're constantly worrying about what may happen, or even thinking about the past. A lot of people have a hard time not thinking about the past, but being in the present moment and really being able to quiet your mind and be in that present moment is critical to your overall health in every facet. So it also, I think, when we're in the present moment, it puts us into receiving mode. So a lot of people, I like to say it's always better to give than to receive, in a sense, but sometimes we give a little too much of ourselves, and we don't even do it consciously sometimes. So being in that present moment allows us to receive all of our blessings from the universe, from source, from whoever it is that we believe in. And also, again, that then facilitates our manifesting abilities.
Wonderful. Very true. When you are manifesting, when you say it as like a future tense, a lot of times you're removing that from where you're at.
Yes.
And I feel like that's why, that present moment awareness is so powerful, especially with manifestation, because we want to attract it. We want to create it right now where we're at, wherever that is for you. Do you have, before we move into our next question, do you have anything to say on the topic of body scans?
I only can speak for myself, and this is something that I've had to do quite a bit in the last 2 years. I've actually had some injuries. I got really sick as well. And I mean, we're talking more on a physical level with our own vessels, but I really sometimes have to stop what I'm doing. I'm very busy with work. I do very high level technology work with my day job, and it's always a great time when I get to come on Mysticsense, and it helps ground me but also give back to others. And so body scans, before I kind of make that transition in my day, I really try to look at, how am I feeling physically? Have I had enough sleep? Have I had enough water? Have I eaten properly today? Sounds so simple when we say it out loud, but man, we really don't look at that a lot, and we take it for granted. Health is wealth. I always say that. And so taking a full body scan of, one, how you physically feel is huge. Two, what kind of emotions are you feeling? Are you okay mentally? Is it someone else's energy, or is it your own? Have you been around a bunch of grumpy people all day? Have you taken on other people's energies that maybe you were, connecting with throughout your last couple of hours? Those types of things. And then also prayer is huge. And really, I think that's a great way to overall scan your body. And if you really are tapped in with your intuition and just trusting your gut, body scans will happen like that.
Thank you for that insight. It's definitely important to know where we're at when we start these especially spiritual endeavors like your readings.
Mm-hmm.
So, what are the benefits of embracing stillness and meditation for cultivating inner peace?
That's such an open-ended question. And I've thought about, just some of the things that we're talking about here. Obviously, getting still and quiet, meditating, it's recharging our batteries. And, just like you would plug your phone in every day when the battery starts to get low, are you really doing that consistently with yourself? And so meditating, really embracing the stillness, finding that inner peace, but also knowing when we feel depleted. Is it because of stress levels? That can truly lower our immune systems. It helps us or can facilitate us getting sick easily, causing irritability that can lash out in many different ways. Even to our pets. We have our dogs here tonight. You might get irritated with your pets because of these types of things. But also it at the same time, on a much larger scale, if we're talking physics and manifesting and just things that are going to come into you, like new opportunities, the universe is trying to bring you things. And if you're not able to facilitate your vessel functioning properly, it can cause major blockages. I see it all the time with clients that call in, with my own family and friends. They get so caught up and so tense, and they haven't done that consistent meditation or quiet time, and it really can block a lot. So That's what I
Yeah,
do.
oh, it's definitely important to take that time for yourself. I also want to add that this quiet time looks different for every person. There's no one right way. There's not like a way you should do it. It looks different for everyone. Some people that may look like a Zen meditation. Some it may look like a quiet bubble bath. It may look like a quiet walk through the woods for someone else. So it's important to find what is meditative for you and what gets you in the present moment, what makes you calm down and just become aware and present in your body and your mind. Um, yeah, do you have anything to say on that?
I love that you said going for a walk in the woods. I'm a huge hiker. I love to be outdoors. Unfortunately, I don't live in an area right now where I can have a permanent outdoor space. I would live outside if I could. And grounding is huge. Having the ability to take your shoes off and stand on earth, and even if you can't get outside, as weird as it might sound, and I swear to you this works, especially when we're having winter months here and there's ice and snow and it's negative 10, 20 degrees outside, taking a pot of soil, putting it in a dish of some type and putting your feet on it, you're still grounding. And what you just said, I am constantly telling people to get outside. It boosts your immune system. It's connecting with Mother Nature in every single facet. And I, believe it or not, I've met a few people who said they don't like to be outside or be outdoors. And those are some of the most tense, pent up energies I've met. So I definitely am a big fan of what you said with regards to going outside.
Thank you. And we've talked on this about going outside in another episode as well. If this is something you're super interested in, make sure you check out our other episodes too, because we do talk about that. It's a recurring theme with spirituality. Yeah, it makes sense because it's protective, it's grounding, it's meditative. It really ties in so many different facets of what we're doing here.
Well, and also something that I want to mention is being near a body of water. If you don't live near a body of water, go to a body of water, even if it's just once a week. Before I moved here, I actually lived near a river, and I'm so fortunate because of that, because I can walk over to it every day. But before that, I would drive 10 minutes to a county park that had a beautiful landscape with ponds and creeks and rivers. And I would do that every Sunday, kind of as a ritual. And I would sit on the ground, cross my legs, and just breathe. And I would not have my phone on me. I would not have headphones on. And I would just listen to all of the sounds that nature offers. But more importantly, that body of water really represents emotions, depending on what angle you want to look at it. And water, historically, keep in mind, our bodies are made of 70% water. So being near it is going to help your blood systems flow even better.
Very good tips. Yes, water is super spiritual. If we look at the tarot, the suit of cups, very emotional, very spiritual energies that come from that.
Mm-hmm.
So yes,
if you have water in your chart, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, anywhere, you need to be by water. So I agree with that.
Okay, fantastic. So how can the practice of stillness help in quieting the mind and fostering present moment awareness?
I had to write this down because I think this is so true. And I put, it causes us to naturally slow down and embrace disconnection. Disconnection is something many people are afraid to do because it's a reflection of our inner child wounding. Because when we disconnect, we can feel as if we are abandoning our control and our safety. Fostering present moment awareness means fostering a feeling of feeling safe in and of ourselves. And I want to really talk about this because when we talk about inner child wounding, a lot of us don't even realize what that is till we become adults or we experience a really big life event. And so the power of disconnection can be a good thing and a bad thing for a lot of people, depending on where they're at in their healing journeys. And so when you're able to discipline yourself, disconnecting from the world and just everyday life happenings, you're truly honoring yourself and helping inwardly heal your inner child, heal any traumas that you may have incurred, and things of this nature.
That's really interesting that you mentioned that. I had not thought about that before. Um, would you like to expand on that a little bit for people that aren't familiar with inner child work?
Yes. So, and these are just my beliefs, but I personally believe when we're born into this world that we are in our purest form. What kid do we not know from ages usually 1 through 5 that's not happy-go-lucky and just has the most beautiful aura and so innocent and pure? That, I believe, is what our true form is. And as we grow into, childhood, young adulthood, teenage years, and then into adulthood, it's almost like we have to find our way back to that original energy as we take on, our families and the world at large, and experience jobs, and grow into these amazing people that create just as much as we go through challenges. And so when we talk about inner child wounding and healing, what we're doing is, at least in my eyes, I always say I'm mothering that little girl that I used to be. And when you realize the protection level of that, it's like no one else can affect you. And whether that's feeling abandoned, feeling scared, not feeling safe, understanding that we have the power to feel that in and of ourselves is why we disconnect. It's why we facilitate inner peace. And that is such a critical part on a spiritual level. And then also the rabbit hole of going down what that journey looks like to you. There's no specific book that's going to have all the answers for that. That's the cool part. You get to go on your own journey, and whatever works best for you is acceptable to you. And anyone who tries to interject or block that happiness and that peace and state of mind for you needs to have a second look at, because no one should affect your happiness, and that you have full control over that.
Thank you for that insight. Very interesting. I think I learned something here tonight. And I hope you all did too. I hope you learned something from this. Could you offer some guidance on how to incorporate stillness and meditation into daily routines?
Absolutely. This is one of my favorite things. And I've been doing this actively for about 8 years now. It's gotten to a much more solidified routine, I guess you would say. But this is just what works for me. People have kids. People have different, hours of the day that they may go to work. Whatever works best for you. But for me personally, I am probably at my most calm state when I first wake up in the morning before I start my day. And so what I will do is I will get into a room. It's actually this room that I'm in, and I will stretch every limb of my body. I get down on the floor. I stretch my arms and my legs out as much as I can, my fingers, my toes. I do a few different yoga exercises, breath work at the same time. I then go into an Indian pose and start prayer, just saying thank you, attitude of gratitude for being awake, for being alive, for this day that I'm about to embark on, really honoring myself. I also light incense and candles. I burn sage, probably way more than I should. I go through a lot of it. And so really also remembering that stretching our bodies is going to keep you healthy long-term, especially as we age. It also promotes healthy blood flow. And also wakes our bodies up naturally before we have our coffee or our breakfast or anything of that nature. Another thing that I think is really good is to have calming music. Again, I wear noise canceling headphones, not at first while I'm stretching, but once I kind of get stretched out, get woke up, then I will put head canceling or noise canceling headphones on. I then throw my own cards, do a little spread for myself daily, and honoring my soul, my inner being that way. And again, I really think the biggest part of this entire process is to truly be thankful for the little things. And I mean little things. Thank you for the blanket that I had last night while I slept. Thank you for the roof over my head. Thank you for the foods in my cupboard. Thank you for my health and waking up not sick today. These little things immediately set your day off in a very high frequency. And if you do that every day, even if you can only do it for 5-10 minutes, and you do it consistently, you're going to see progress over the long term. And it only facilitates that growth as we move in our spiritual paths.
That's some great guidance. Thank you. The stretches are probably something a lot of people can have. Well, I don't know how how I'm saying this, but I guess the stretches have a big impact on lots of areas of life. It's not just spiritual, but it's also getting you in tune with your body, like the body scan idea, and it's also helping your health physically. And if you're mobility impaired, you can stretch certain areas. You don't have to stretch your whole body. Just do the ones you are able to do.
Yeah. And another thing too that I would even recommend, and I switch on and off between morning and night, but taking a bath first thing in the morning. I've noticed a lot of people don't take baths. A lot of us do showers because they're quick. But if you have a bathtub, taking a bath, and I always do what I would call kind of a spiritual bath when I do it. It is a ritual. And think back on, hundreds and thousands of years ago, what a bath meant. Back then we were only taking baths once a month or two, so what I do is get the water as hot as I can stand it, or you can always do a cold bath, whatever perks your fancy. But I put Epsom salts in it. I put my crystals in that, depending on what crystals I'm feeling or vibing with during the day. I light candles, meditative music. I swear to you, this is one of the best things you will ever purchase. I bought a light bulb for my bathroom that is LED and it's Bluetooth and it has a speaker. And when I turn it on, I can actually sync my phone to my light bulb in my bathroom, and I play meditative music that way. So just kind of throwing that out there, totally off topic. But taking those baths will, especially with the Epsom salts, relaxes your muscles. So if you have any impairments or you're not that mobile, that's also a great way to relax your body first thing in the morning.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I've never heard about that light bulb.
Oh, change the game, let me tell you. And it changes colors. It's so awesome. I love it.
Very cool. We'll have to go buy one of those, like people watching and do the bath that way.
Yes.
We've talked about spiritual baths in a previous episode as well. So go back. It's that same episode that we talked about the other topic. But there's a lot of crossover between these episodes, but it is fantastic. I also do spiritual baths. You do want to be careful with the crystals you use because not all of them are water safe. However, quartz is typically pretty water safe. So I like to do a lot of cleansing baths personally, because that just, even no matter how you're feeling, that cleansing bath is going to get all that gunk off of you, and it's going to make you feel fresh and aware. So I like to use clear quartz in my bath water, and I use Epsom salt. I also use incense. I light an incense. There's a sage incense that is really good for cleansing. You can use any kind of citrus. You can put essential oils in. Again, citrus is good. Rosemary's protective. Sage is very cleansing. Any kind of citrus is really, really good for like purification.
And also sugar scrubs. Really scrubbing the dead cells off your body. And I mean, like, do a full body scrub and getting that dead energy, which is just quite literally dead body cells, off of your body, and tying it in with everything that you just said. Oh, it's the best. The best.
Very good. Yeah. And sea salt too is very good.
Yes.
Very purifying and cleansing.
Absolutely. And then lastly, I would also say this. I pray over my water before I get in it, as if I'm blessing it, almost like it's holy water. And I do different affirmations, different types of prayers, whatever I'm in the mood for that day or whatever I'm trying to facilitate. And then I always suggest to clients of mine, when you go into the water, make sure you immerse your whole body under it, including your head, and then come up, almost kind of like a baptism of sorts, if that makes sense. So at least more on the spiritual side, that's something also that I recommend.
Yeah, it's great. Baths are so powerful for so much stuff. I actually just ordered a book on spiritual baths because I want to see all the different kinds.
You're going to have to share. Tell me what book it is.
I want to expand. I know, because I've done the protective, I've done the banishing, and I've done the cleansing ones.
There you go.
Like, those are the three I do. But I want to see what else I can do with bats.
Yeah.
you
Oh, and
know.
bath bombs. Who doesn't love bath bombs? Oh, those are the best.
Yes, you can make your own and you can put all the herbs in them for the spiritual stuff. Like you can
Mhm.
get really creative with it. But we'll leave that up to you, the viewers, to decide how you want to go move forward with that because there's
Yep,
so much we could talk about.
absolutely.
Okay, wonderful. So, which one were we on? Okay, we're on the strategies, correct?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Sorry about that. What strategies can individuals use to release stress and tension from their body and mind?
Absolutely. We kind of already touched a little bit on it, but I really want to talk about sleep. So obviously we all get tired, we go to sleep, we crash out. But are we really intentional with our sleep schedules? So even just adding an extra hour or two, or having very disciplined sleep hours is going to be huge for overall releasing of stress and just feeling more awake when you wake up in the morning. That's a big one. Eating well, balanced meals, organic foods, products that are toxin free, helping with inflammation. And other stress related side effects. That's a big one. I always tell people this. I've lost 165 pounds. I've kept that weight off for 12 years now. And, it was a struggle. I was eating all the worst kind of food. I say, I'm going to wrap myself out here, Phoenix. Water and Diet Pepsi. All right, that's a conundrum, isn't it? But what I would say is I switched my diet up, and I love to cook. Cooking is also such a great way to heal, and you know exactly what's going into your body. I think that's a huge one to help relieve stress. I mean, let's talk about how stressful that can be in and of itself. But also going out inside in nature. And one thing that I always talk about is some people get bored just walking by themselves out in nature or whatnot. Okay, well, look for certain items, kind of make it a fun game. You could look for certain rocks, leaves, feathers, nuts, berries, different types of animals. Those really can help ground and take your mind off of everyday stressors. Also, stretching, obviously, we talked about that, taking baths. Muscle relaxation is huge. But I think the biggest thing that I can say with all of this is creating habits. If you're like me, I create lists. I'm a lister, and I have to see a visual in my face every day to remind me of basic things, as sad as that sounds. But when I do that, and I'm consistent about that, everything with regards to my mind, body, and soul comes into full alignment, and it's consistent. And that's the biggest thing I see a lot of people struggle with. Several clients of mine over the years, they'll do good for a week or two, maybe even a month, and then slowly they'll start to lose sight of those habits. Life happens. And so making sure that that's a priority. You need to be the top priority, because if your cup isn't filled, you can't go fill other people's cups. And that's hard to do when we're such loving, giving people. And yeah, I always tell people, put yourself first, be strategic with those habits, and that's going to be the game changer, let alone from what you're going to discover on your own spiritual journey.
Yeah, that's very, very insightful. Thank you for sharing. Um, I have a lot of anxiety. I have clinical anxiety myself, and I've found that when I just sit down and I tell myself this thing is out of my control, there's nothing that I can do to change this. So why should I take responsibility for it? Or why should I feel upset about it when I cannot do anything differently?
Yep.
And I found, and this won't work for everyone, but for me personally, I have found that telling myself that, reminding myself that, this situation is not something that I can change the outcome of. I'm not in control of it. So I don't need to take that responsibility. I don't need to think about it. I don't need to care about it, because there's nothing, it doesn't matter either way if I do or don't. That has helped me a lot to step back and just kind of let things be. We don't have to focus on everyone else. We don't have to focus on everything in the world, especially when it's something that we can't change the outcome of, whether or not it affects you.
Mhm.
So I've found that, just focusing back on myself, and it kind of sounds bad when you say it like that, but
It's
really,
true
truly,
though. It's
yeah,
true.
you focus on when you focus on me, which is with you, when you focus on yourself and you say everything else is outside of me, it doesn't affect me, I can't change it, I can only change myself and my reactions and my actions. That in itself is so powerful to reclaiming a sense of security over your life. And I feel like that in itself, realizing that and taking that to heart really helps release the stress and tension that a lot of people carry, which really isn't theirs in the first place.
Yeah. I think a lot of people struggle with understanding that a lot of what you feel isn't even your own energy. And that takes time to be able to differentiate. And also, I think the other thing too is a lot of us are our own worst enemies, and we don't show ourselves enough grace. And I think that causes a lot of anxiety is, perfectionism, people pleasing, always wanting to control the outcome. And, I found not being able to control the outcome, but knowing I've given the best I can on my end. Wow, that's liberating, yeah, everything that you just said, I see a lot of people go through that. And thank you for sharing it, because we need more people being honest about it, because a lot of people keep it all inside and they'll just clam up and they don't share what's really going on. And just getting it out alone changes the game in so many ways.
Yeah, definitely. And I want to elaborate even more on that. Getting it out is very important. And that looks different for different people. Some people, that means telling someone, tell a friend. If you're stressed out, if you're really under a lot of pressure, tell someone, open up, tell your friend, hey, can we talk for an hour? I'm going through something, or I just need to get something off my chest, or I'm feeling stressed out. That in itself can help relieve stress if you talk to the right person.
Absolutely.
Some people,
and if you don't have the right person, journaling
yes.
is great.
Some people aren't great for talking about stressful things, but a lot of people are. It depends. Use your judgment. But yes, journaling, write a diary, write a journal, start a blog.
Yep.
Talk about your experience on your blog. Start a TikTok page. People love that because people love the energy of the connection. And you may just end up finding something that becomes a much bigger part of your life than you thought it would be, and it's helping you and it's helping other people.
So true. It's interesting because when I think I had mentioned to you, I do several podcasts. It was almost freeing to be able to be myself behind a camera without an actual audience in front of me, even though technically anyone could watch the video, which can be really nerve-wracking. But when I started hitting that record button, whether, like you said, TikTok, any type of social media platform, use it with discretion, obviously, have some privacy for yourself, because you don't want to give everything away. But when you even just doing a video diary for yourself, you don't have to show anybody, but just getting it out. And a lot of people have a hard time even forming their word or their thoughts into words, but either way, getting it out is critical for overall well-being, for sure.
Absolutely. And it teaches you also that you're not alone in this.
Yes.
That's another thing.
You're never alone. Even if you want to be, you're never alone. They're always watching. So yeah.
For sure. Yeah. Okay, so what are some practical strategies such as progressive muscle relaxation or nature walks that can help in releasing stress? We've talked about the nature walks a bit.
Mm-hmm. One of the biggest ones that I think worked for me, and a lot of people aren't into yoga. I am a huge fan of yoga. When I heard those words, progressive muscle relaxation, I always thought of hot yoga sessions. There are so many yoga studios, near our homes, but also if you can't do that, turn the heat up in your home and watch a YouTube video. When we get our muscles stretched out, but also we add heat to it. One, keep in mind you're sweating and you're releasing toxins in the body, which need to be purged again, or taking a hot bath. That helps that progressive muscle relaxation is first and foremost getting the toxins out of our body. Exercising is huge. If you don't like to exercise, walking. That's the easiest way. That is the top exercise I did when I lost all that weight. I think that it's also the stretching. The stretching is huge. I know so many people that have a lot of body aches and pains. And I mean, I'm trying to think. I started getting really serious body aches and pains probably when I was 25. Now I was pretty overweight at the time, but you know, it's progressed over the years. I'm getting older, but stretching out is going to keep you so much just relaxed, because when you're in more pain, that's when that inner peace goes bye-bye. You know, like so your physical health is a really big deal. And I think that stretching is one of the best things you can do for progress. If we're talking progression, the more you stretch, the more limber you are, the more comfortable you are, and just moving your body overall.
Yes, that's very interesting. I've never tried hot yoga. I've done yoga, regular yoga before.
You would love it.
Um, yeah, I like yoga. I keep saying I'm gonna do more yoga, and I haven't for like
Mhm.
a few years. That's sad.
Yoga tends to go best for me when I have a partner to go with, or a friend, because then we can hold each other accountable. But even, you know, it doesn't have to be some huge yoga routine, but even 5 minutes of just stretching every morning. I mean, a lot of those stretches are yoga poses. So, yeah, you would love hot yoga. It's awesome.
Yes, I'll have to try it.
Mhm.
It sounds good. Yeah, you're right with the friends, and that goes back to what we were talking about, not being alone. If you can get a friend who's also struggling with stress or tension to do these things with you, that's even better. You know, you have each other for support. Definitely for sure.
Yeah.
I
And
have another.
or even you know, something else. I always talk about tools that you can use for that. Big exercise balls. Just having one of those in your homes, especially if you have a hard time kind of with back issues, or that kind of thing, being able to use that and rolling your back over that. Our backs carry so much stress. You know, whenever you go to get a massage, what's the first place they usually touch is your back. You know, so yoga balls or the big exercise balls, foam rollers, anything that you could, you know, back scratchers, anything that could really help release your muscle tension, or even having some dumbbells, a kettlebell, things of that nature is going to really get that muscle, one, to relax, but also contract, which is going to make your body stronger overall.
Mhm. And the posture as well plays a role in this.
Oh, yeah.
If you have bad posture, like I have had not so good posture, because I work from home. So a lot
Same.
of I'm sitting in a chair staring at a screen. And if, you know, using a back brace for my posture has really helped me a lot. I
Mhm.
feel less stress in my back, in my shoulders, less tension. The physical tension can help with the emotional tension as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. And two more things I want to mention that I've personally had issues with working from home, or having a sedentary type of job. I'm pretty tall. I'm 5'11", and having sole inserts in your shoes and wearing shoes when you're at home, we get a lot of hip and back pain from being flat footed, especially if we spend a lot of time at home. So wearing your tennis shoes at home with sole inserts is going to help that. And then one of the best tricks my chiropractor ever gave me, I have pretty bad whiplash from a car accident, is to take a can of soup that is fairly same size to the crook in your neck. And you're going to lay flat on the ground and put the can of soup under your neck, and it puts that natural curvature back in your neck. It's so super inexpensive to do. And if you lay on that for about 10 to 15 minutes, especially if you have a tension headache or anything like that, neck pain, I swear to you, it goes away like that. And these are just really small at-home remedies that you can do to help muscle relaxation. But we haven't really talked about headaches. Headaches can come from what? Tension. So again, that's even more so why we should stretch out our bodies and have that muscle relaxation, because headaches come from a lot of that. You know, joint pain, aches, and those types of things.
Interesting. Yes, I that's so interesting about the soup. I
I'm
like that it's
Oh,
easy.
you just grab a can out of your cupboard, go lay flat on the ground, put it on your neck for 10 minutes, you're good to go. I promise.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yep.
So how does visualization play a role in stress relief, and what techniques can listeners use for this purpose?
The eye is in the beholder. I mean, I could go on for a long time on the answer to this question, but I think I always tell people, think of the most beautiful place you've ever been to, or the most relaxing place you've ever been to, and that could be anywhere, quite literally. It could be a location that's on a beach, a vacation that you went on. It could be someone's home, it could be your bedroom or your bed. It could be wherever, right? Visualizing that as you're meditating, or if you have a really happy memory of, let's say you were around your family at Christmas and it felt really homey and relaxing, visualize that. Those types of things help you. As silly as this might sound, it really has also worked for others. A lot of people have stressors with finances. Is it silly to visualize yourself in a bathtub full of money and cash? Is that silly? Or does that help relieve stress? Has that helped manifest? Does that help bring that receiving energy in, So it could obviously be a place, but it doesn't have to be a quote unquote 3D place. It can be, it's all in your head, and whatever helps you relax or takes that stress off. So have fun with that. And it doesn't always have to be the same place. It can always be a place you've never seen, but you've always wanted to go, or even just something as simple as sitting next to a stream and you're visualizing it, but you almost can hear the water, things of that matter. So I love that question, because you got me thinking with that one. And I'm like, man, I feel like there's so many places I haven't been that I would say that's the place. And then I'm like, I got a lot of traveling to do. So I love that question.
Wonderful. It's inspiring.
It is.
um, yes. So one thing you can also do is just visualize a color or surround
Mhm.
yourself with a color. That's what I do personally a lot.
That's a good
I
one.
I love the color blue, and blue is soothing, purples are also kind of soothing. And if you're dealing with this like long term, if you're having issues consistently, maybe you might want to paint your room in that color
Mhm.
that soothes you. Um, and that can
Something
just
else,
Mhm.
have you done this? Have you ever meditated wearing sunglasses inside? Have you ever done that before?
No.
So, sometimes when people get migraines, it'll be recommended to put sunglasses on because it helps with the light. But try doing that when you're meditating. If it's daylight out and you're trying to like really calm down, sometimes closing your eyes isn't enough, but put sunglasses on, or even a eye mask. Or I don't know what is that the right term? Eye mask? You know what
I
I'm talking
think so.
about?
Mhm.
Yeah. That also can help. But the color, that's a good one. I love that.
Thank you. And another thing we can do is use crystals.
Yes.
I think that's like my final tip on that is crystals are fantastic. There's lots of crystals for calming, soothing. One of them is, I believe it's agate, blue lace agate
Mhm.
is, I took a crystal class recently, and that was recommended for stressful situations. Um, Not so much grounding, but like a lot of tension. Blue lace agate is very soothing. It's very calming. You could carry that in your pocket, have
Mhm.
it next to you in your meditation spot. You can also use any grounding crystals, which we've talked about in a previous episode as well. My
Mhm.
go-to for that is smoky quartz. Hematite is also pretty great. But just think about what crystals you resonate with, what soothes you, what makes you feel calm, and use that in conjunction with the colors.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I love that. And I also say wearing crystals. If you don't have crystal jewelry, as silly as this might sound, but I know so many women that do this, tuck those bad boys in your bra. Really get it on your skin, or just holding them in your hands as you walk. Keep them in your pockets. Put your hands in your pockets, hold on to the crystals as you walk, little things like that, especially for beginners when they don't have, crystal jewelry or bracelets, or, things of this nature. Just buying one or two crystals. I actually went with a friend of mine. We went to a metaphysics shop about a year ago, and she says, I know nothing about crystals. I have no jewelry. I don't really like to wear jewelry. So what do I do? And I said, let's just get some loose ones, put them in your pocket, or carry a little pouch, or, whatever you need to do. I always say the bra technique. Some people think that's weird, but I certainly don't. But whatever you need to do. And I love that. Crystals is huge.
Yes, thank you so much. And lastly, I want to say that if you just need a break, like we mentioned earlier, I think it was like stressful situations. The question was talking about stressful situations. You can take a break. Just say, hey, I need to use the bathroom. I'll be back in 5 minutes, and to go take your deep breaths and visualize the colors coming down all around you. There's another breathing technique, the box breathing. It's very similar to what you were talking about the 4-8 technique.
Yes.
The box breathing, you just take your finger on your hand and you count to 4, and that's your breathing in. You hold it for 4, you breathe out for 4, and then you hold it for 4, and then you breathe in, and you just go around and around and around until you are in a centered, peaceful state. And it doesn't have to be a long time. It can be 2-3 minutes. And don't be afraid to tell people, hey, I need to take a break. I'll be back in a few.
Yeah. And also, since your puppy's making a grand, saying hello there, if you have pets, hold on to your pets. Go take a break with your pet. Go cuddle with your pet for a few minutes. First of all they want to do ever is just love us, right? And I personally think they're little four-legged angels. And so I always say, go get your companion. If you're not really going to people that day, so to speak, go get your pet, your dog, your kitty, your snake, whatever you have, and cuddle with your pet, because that's a big one, and they will eat that up all day.
Definitely, and they pick up on our emotions really well. They're pretty much empaths. I think all animals are empaths. So definitely, because they know how stressed you are. They know how upset you are. They know, even if you don't even say anything, they understand it on a very deep level. And that in itself can provide that release of that tension.
Yep.
Sorry, she's being distracting.
No, it's okay. Achilles is, I would move it, but I know we're on a podcast and I know how editing goes. So, but he is curled up in the cutest little position on his little chair right next to me. So maybe I bored him with my conversation here, or it was so relaxing it put him right to sleep. There we go.
Yes. Wonderful. So thank you so much for being here, Mags. I think that concludes our conversation on inner peace. Is there anything you'd like to share with our viewers today?
I just want to say thank you to anyone that might watch this. And I say thank you for a few reasons. One, thank you for being brave enough to go on your own journey. And thank you for coming to Mysticsense, because I don't think that people realize, as much as we love to give back to all of you, you all truly help us and give back to us. And so, we have bad days just like everybody else. And sometimes I find myself having people's energy help me out. And so I just want to say thank you to everyone that watched this, and don't give up. And there is always a better tomorrow, and just sleep on it. You'll feel better.
Thank you so much, Mags. It has been wonderful discussing this topic with you on inner peace. And again, Mag's profile on Mysticsense is linked in the description of this video, so make sure to go check it out, get a reading with her, and if you need, do you do coaching, like one-on-one coaching?
I do coaching. I do tarot readings. Sometimes I have people call and they just need a friend to talk to, but also I am truly gifted. I'm a psychic medium. I can speak with past on loved ones, and then also I have remote viewing capabilities. So use with your own discretion. I do like to honor those gifts very highly. And also I do post my hours ahead of time. So if you can't, or if you get on and you don't see me online, feel free to book an appointment. I'd be happy to meet with you.
Thank you so much. And that is Empress of Security, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. Wonderful. Thank you. I hope you all enjoyed learning about inner peace with us today with Mags, our psychic advisor. And I hope that you check out her profile on Mysticsense and possibly get a reading with her. Thank you for watching this episode. And I hope that you all have a wonderful day. Hope to see you next week. Bye.
Thank you.